This is Alex the Rebel, and we off script. Welcome to the best podcast there is out there about movies and shenanigans. Off script with me, Alex the Rebel. So as always, I'm gonna cut right to it because I don't like wasting your time. I don't like wasting my time. It might be my ADHD, whatever. But let's get right to it. So I love movies. I've watched a lot of movies this year, and I just got the Letterbox Pro. So you could like look at your stats and look at everything you've watched, and it could break down literally like what director, what actors, and I was like pretty shocked. Me and Andrew were comparing, and he watched a lot of older movies that I've been meaning to watch. Like there's a lot of movies that classic, like great movies, right? Like I don't mean quote unquote, but classically great movies that everybody loves that I have not seen, and I feel like horrible because I'm a movie guy. And if there's one thing a movie guy should do is like watch movies, especially movies that are like great. So I'm fixing that this year. This year, 2026. Happy New Year's, by the way. Happy New Year's. I hope you had a great Christmas. I hope you had a great holiday, vacation, whatever. Spent it with your family. I just hope it was beautiful. Mine was amazing. And yeah, so getting right back into it. I'm sorry. But yeah, there's so many movies that I've been wanting to watch and I've been having on my watch list for such a long time. And I was like, you know what? And seeing Andrew's letterbox really inspired me. And then I think the more I talk to him, the more he's like making sense. So that kind of scared me because me and Andrew is like so opposite in so many things. And now I'm agreeing with him and stuff. I don't know how good the podcast could be if I agree with him and he agrees with me. But he is getting to me about like thinking about curate, like we had that podcast about curating and thinking about being more intentional with like what you read and what you watch. So that really made me think like I want my list of watching to be like better than Andrew because Andrew like watched like so like 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s movies. He has so many. I'm like I had like two. So, anyways, I'm gonna I'm gonna fix that. I'm gonna do something about it this year, and I want to watch great movies. And guess what? Not even 2026, and I already started on my list. So I have a list of 2026 classic movies that I want to watch, and I already watched my first one last night. It was Vertigo. Dude, that movie was a trip, man. This is not a movie review, but what I want to say is if you've never seen that movie, you really need to because it's really, really good. Especially like if you like a slow burn. I'm really appreciating like camera work and I love like scenes, right? Like that you can see a beautiful scene in the movie and letting it breathe. And this was a great movie. Wild, wild twists is in there. It was fun. It was really good. I really appreciate it. The artistry, the direction, it was just really, really good. So on this episode, I want to highlight some of the movies that I want to watch this year. And then I want to see if you have some of these movies on your list still that you haven't watched. And I'm like, I'm going to push you towards it. Like, you should watch them because they're great. Or you should watch them because they're supposed to be great. One of those things, you know what I mean? You understand? We understand each other, right? All right, so here we go. I'm going to give you some highlights, a movie that you'd be like, you serious? You've never seen that? I'm like, I know. Pretty bad. So here you go. Off with the banger, right? Casa Blanca. Can you believe that? I've never seen Casablanca. I know. It's like it's horrible. The thing is I do know something about it. Like I think that is at the end, at least a line. So I don't know how important that line is. He was looking at you, kid, or something like that. I don't know how important that line is to the movie, but I am really looking forward to that movie. It's a classic, for a reason. So the next movie I want to watch, these are not in order, but is considered like I've seen it in a few lists, like the as the number one movie. Period. Point stop blank. Citizen Kane. Now this one I do know the twist at the end. I think. I don't want to say it. I mean, this movie's been like what year it came out? 1941. So it's almost 100 years old. But I don't want to say it because you know what? There's some youngsters out there that have never seen it. So I'm like, I want to push him, but let's watch Citizen Kane together. I've been wanting to watch it for a long time. I know kind of the ending, I think, but I think it's still worth the watch. The way I see it is, if it's number one on a lot of lists, it got to count for something. So it has to be good in some aspect. So I would figure it's kind of an important movie. So I'm going to watch it. Citizens Kane. The next movie I haven't seen is Rear Window. So this is another Hitchcock movie with Jimmy Stewart. I don't know a lot about these movies on purpose. I don't watch trailers. I don't read synopsis. It's these are consensus great movies. So, and there's certain directors, certain actors that I'll just watch just because, like, oh, this person directed it. I'm interested in his work. I like a lot of his work. I like his tone. I like where his direction. I like what, there's certain criteria that I like have. And if you're an actor or director that fits in that like criteria and mold that I like, I'm just gonna watch it because you did it and give it a shot. You know what I'm saying? So Rear Window, you got Jimmy Stewart and you got Alfred Hitchcock. So I mean, I'm gonna watch it. And again, Consensus, great movie. So I don't think I can go wrong with that. Have you watched Rear Window? Let me know. Sheesh. So who knows about Godfather? I know Godfather. You know Godfather. I love the Godfather. Part one and two. Part three, we'll just leave it where it is in somewhere else. But part one and two are incredible movies. So, in light of that, there's another movie that he directed that was really good, Apocalypse Now. All I know is that it's a war movie. That's it. That's all I know. You would think that I would know more, but I don't. It's a war movie. That's all I know. Consensus, great. I need to see it. That's pretty much the end of that. And I'm really looking forward to it because from what I've heard, I'm excited. I really am. So again, this year is gonna be fun. My movie letterbox is gonna look better than yours this year, Andrew, because it's gonna be very diverse. Apparently, in 2025, I watched a lot of 80s and 90s movies, and then a lot of like 2025 movies. I'm gonna fix that. I'm gonna put older movies in there. And again, my criteria for the old movie, because I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, there's a lot of great movies that are classics. And I get that. But for instance, I'm not huge on musicals from that era. There's a few here and there that I'll like, but I'm not humongous. So I'm not going to watch all the great musicals. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm sticking to certain genre actors and directors that I really, really like. That's kind of how I'm starting this year. And then 2027, who knows? I might go rogue and like be like, you know what? I saw the great movies that I really was interested in. Maybe I'll give this one a shot because they call it great, and I'll watch it. But that's 2027 Alex's problem. 2026 Alex is being more like picky about what classical movies I want to watch. So Apocalypse Now, War, uh, Francis Ford Coppola, Martin Sheen. I mean, and you got Marlon Brando, I think, is in this. I'm pretty sure he's in this. It's funny because I was sure he was in this movie, and I say it now, and like I'm nervous, but I think he is in this. And if he's not in this, oh well, don't worry about it. Maybe he's in other movies. Maybe I associate him with Francis Ford Coppola so much that I think he's in a Apocalypse Now, and he's not. But maybe he's in this movie, and I feel better about myself. Yeah, maybe. So on the Marlon Brando, right? Like considered one of the greatest actors. So I've been hearing about this movie for a very long time. A Streetcar Named Desire. One of his first roles. I really want to watch it. They say that his acting in this movie really changed a lot of the way people started acting afterwards. So I'm really interested in seeing like he's notoriously like a difficult person to deal with as a actor, I heard. Yeah, it's crazy because you watch his performances in like Godfather and a lot of these movies, and they're spectacular. But apparently, like he didn't learn his lines, So famously in Superman, he was just terrible, like a terrible person to work with. But again, great actors. So I mean, I don't know, man. When it's a gift, it's a gift, I guess. But Streetcar Named Desire, I've been wanting to watch this one. This is one of his earliest. I know it's a considered great. Marlon Brando's in it, early Marlon Brando, and I really want to watch it. His acting is something I've always been appreciative of. Like I love his acting, so I really want to see like his early work. Like to see what he's done. Like how he grew. Maybe I can be an actor in a year or so. If I just study Marlon Brando, what do you think? No, I don't know. Maybe it might be a little late for me, but it's all good. Maybe one day. All right, so a big movie that is like a famously horror movie. It's The Shining. Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. So Jack Nicholson's in this movie. I know that. I I'm not I know it's about a reporter and I know it's a hotel. I know there's twin girls. If I remember correctly, I think this is the one. No, this is not Where's Johnny. I think a bird flew under the cuckoo's nest or something like that. Anyways, that's another movie I need to watch. But yeah, I think there's a knife going through a door. I think that's this one. If anyways, but The Shining. So I think Stephen King wrote this. I'm not sure. I think yeah, Stephen King wrote this. And The Shining. Have you seen The Shining? I want to shine with the light of Jesus, not the light of the enemy. But yeah, Shining. I mean, it's a classic horror movie. A lot of people talk about it. It's something I've always wanted to watch. So since I'm tackling classic, great movies, this is one of those. It falls in there. The Shining. So there's two movies I want to watch that I seen The Taxi Driver before with Robert De Niro, but it was been a long time. I saw it before I really was paying attention to like the cinematography, the acting, things like that, seeing and the way they edit and all that. Like before I cared about that stuff, 'cause I'm, learning a little bit more. This is something I've been wanting to watch. So the Taxi Driver I want to watch again. But I have not seen Raging Bull by Martin Scorsese and Robert De Niro. That's a shame because the boxing movie, I love boxing movies. I mean, Rocky, the franchise is great. Creed. If you hate Creed, you're wrong. Ali, great movie too. So Raging Bull, I've never seen it, but it's been on my list forever. So definitely something I want to watch. And it's Martin Scorsese. I think, especially his early work, I think I want to watch most of his work. He's one of those directors that I do like. I appreciate a lot of his movies. And yeah, so I mean, Raging Bull. I'm excited to watch this boxing. I mean, how could it not be great? How can it not be great? So before I talk about the next one, I want to really talk about how much I'm like very mixed feelings about remakes. Because sometimes, like, why did you have to remake that? Because it was so good in the original, you don't need to remake it. But there are some standout remakes, at least for me. And one of them is the great rom com, You've Got Mail. I just seen it again through the week of Christmas, and I absolutely love that movie. Like, it's rom com. It's Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan, the '90s, right? It just I don't know what it is about these movies. There's a certain thing about these older school movies in the '90s and '80s of rom com that I absolutely love. So many years later, after I watched it like the first time, I found out that there's a original movie called The Shop Around the Corner. And I'm like, huh, kind of funny because it was in a store called Shop Around the Corner and You've Got Mail. You got mail. Pretty good, right? It's funny. A lot of you guys, that reminds you know this, but all you 20-year-olds that are listening or watching, you don't know what I'm talking about. You've got mail. I mean, those days were horrible. Talk about like, we're trying to get on the internet, and then you get a phone call, or like your mom and dad get upset because they're waiting for a call, and then you know the person was like, "Oh, I called, but it was busy," and then you look at you because you were on the internet. You weren't allowed to be on the internet and like phone calls, and then getting on the internet was like so long. Like you literally would like press like go on, log in, and then you could like take a shower. You could eat dinner, take a little nap, check your check balance, and then come to the computer and still wait 5 minutes. So it was work. You had to earn getting on the internet. It felt different. It's so easy nowadays. It's just comical how hard it was and how long it took to get on the internet. But anyways, that's besides the point. But the shop around the corner. So I really am really interested because I've seen you got mail obviously. So I'm guessing this is gonna be envelopes and letters. And the story has such charm to it. It's a really good story. I really like stories like this where it's like playful. You don't know who you're talking to. There's that mystery, and then yeah, I love You've Got Mail. So I'm sure I'm gonna love the shop around the corner, and that's gonna be maybe added to my list of favorite rom-coms. Who knows? Because You Got Mail is in there, so I'm sure this is gonna make it on there as well. So that is it for this episode. Short and sweet, hopefully for you as it was for me. But I want to know: are you being more intentional? Like when we were talking about curating, like I have a collection, but curating, like being more specific, being more picky. Like I'm gonna keep great things. So if you look at that, it's like I'm gonna try to watch, better movies. You know what I'm saying? Like there is a lot of trash out there, and I have seen some stuff, and I'm like, I have afterwards, like, I could have like not watched that, right? So I'm gonna be a little bit more picky in watching movies. Not as picky as Andrew because I don't know anybody as picky as Andrew, but I'm gonna be a little bit more picky about what I watch and also what I'm reading. So I'm gonna be way more intentional on my reading as well. I'm gonna start posting it on Goodreads. I had Goodreads on there on my, as an app, but I never really used it. But I'm gonna try to be more intentional, like reading more books, great books, and then also watching great movies. And then, hopefully, yeah, like it would be because there's been some disappointments in 2025. Superman. Anyways, I don't want to get into that, but that one was really big. Like, yeah, I was a little down on that one, but it's okay. Things happen. But again, I just want to be a little bit more intentional with what I watch. Try to like watch great things. And then hopefully by 2026, I feel like, yeah, I like the movies I watched this year. Like I picked good movies. I watched good movies. I love good movies. But it doesn't matter what. I will always give 5 stars to my old 80s movies because I love them. I love them and you can't do anything about that. Not Andrew, not Phil, not the whole world. I will love these 80s movies and give them 5 stars with the heart every time. And with that, Rebel out.